What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 22, Doubts, Dilemmas, and Drag. So these notes that I took for this episode are not going to be that great. There's not going to be a lot of detail or even a lot of opinion on what was going on in this episode because, frankly, I am over Married at First Sight, Season 17. They have put me through the ringer and back because everybody was being fake on camera. I was reviewing a show about people that really didn't even exist because everybody was portraying some type of a character on camera. Of course, there are exceptions. I do believe that Lauren was a little bit more genuine than everybody else. I do believe that Cameron was, Cameron was faking the funk as well because because Claire told him to. But Michael and Chloe, maybe they're being a little bit more authentic than everybody else. But for the majority of the season, everybody was faking the funk. And so I was reviewing people that were not real, that didn't exist. So now I'm over it. I am completely over it. I don't care. Except for Lauren, Cameron, Michael, and Chloe. I don't care about any of these people. I want them all just to go away. I want us to hurry up and get to the reunion to see if more truth might come out during the reunion. But I seriously doubt that. So this episode was a complete drag and it was torture to watch. And the saddest thing about this episode or about this season is that we do have a couple that is representative of what Married at First Sight is all about. But their storyline is being bogged down by all the silliness of this season. Their storyline, their journey is getting completely lost and buried in the nonsense of this season. And it's really, really sad because minus all the nonsense, the silliness, the crap that we've been going through, Michael and Emily's story might be interesting, but compared to everything else, it's like nobody really cares anymore about Michael and Chloe. It's hard to follow their story because there's so much going on everywhere else, especially with the after party. That's another thing. I was watching this episode only because I have to do a review, and also because I needed to keep up with what was going to be said at the after party. The after party is where like all the meat and potatoes is for season 17. Normally, I would never bother with the after party because I'm thinking it's just them coming out and giving some a little bit of insight on particular scenes and particular things that happen, but not telling you the real story. You have to watch the damn after party to figure out exactly what's really going on, because on the show itself, the 1 hour and a half show itself, everybody's being fake. Everybody's being their most inauthentic, most disingenuous self. And so whatever you see on the after party is not reality. Whatever you see on the season, on the actual episode, is not reality. To figure out why people said what they said and why they did what they did, you have to watch the after party. And I've never seen a season like this. Never before in my life. So let's get started with Chloe and Emily. So Chloe and Emily are taking a walk. They're talking about a lot of stuff. Didn't pay attention to most of it. The most important thing is that Chloe mentioned to Emily how pissed off she is with Dr. Pia because when Dr. Pia did her home visit at her and Michael's apartment, she called him out for being inauthentic, and that really pissed off Chloe. And I wonder if it pissed off Chloe because she knew how fake everybody else has been, and so she feels like she is being real. She is being honest with who she is and what they're doing, and it probably pissed her off that, out of all the couples that you want to call inauthentic, you're going to call us inauthentic compared to Becca and Cameron, compared to Emily and Brennan, you're going to call us inauthentic. Okay. So that was really ironic. So she's still mad at Dr. Pia. Moving on from there, Claire is, in her car, sitting in her car, and y'all, just the sight of this girl gets my blood boiling. She's sitting in her car and she tells us that she texted Cameron for his birthday. She texted him a happy birthday text and he did not respond. So she's still trying to portray herself as, I really tried in this marriage and I'm doing all the right things. And even though we're not together anymore, I care enough about him to tell him happy birthday. Just like when he was in the hospital, she kept on telling us how, oh, I'm still trying and I really want to go see him and I want to take care of him and I still care for him. I still see him like he's my family, but he's not responding to any of my calls. So she's still playing this game of trying to make us feel sorry for her, trying to see her as the victim and see Cameron as the villain. And girl, your story has been told. Unfortunately, it's been told by other people. And I'm believing that other people more than I could ever believe anything that comes out of your mouth. Claire, if you told me the sky was blue, I would have to actually go outside. Okay, I would actually go outside and look up above me to make sure that you were telling me the truth. That's how conniving of a liar Claire is to me. Moving on from there, we have Becca. So she's FaceTiming her mom. She's talking about how much she misses Austin, everything that he did to piss her off, everything that he did to make her cry every day, everything that he did to make her want to get a divorce from him. She now says, oh, he just made a mistake. He was just making a mistake. Unbelievable. So the lack of attraction, the lack of their relationship progressing, her thinking that there was something going on between him and some producer, all of that, now she's saying, oh, he was just making some mistake. So she's second guessing herself. She's having second thoughts about, did she make the right decision as far as getting a divorce from him. And she's so she's like in this emotional turmoil with her mother, and she now believes that Austin did all that he could for their marriage. This is what Becca is saying now, that he did all that he could for their marriage. I'm wondering if possibly Becca is feeling guilty. Maybe she's feeling guilty because she was trying to make him look bad. Maybe because her puppet master, Claire, wanted her to do this. Maybe she was trying to make him look bad during the season, and now she's realizing, what I did was wrong, and trying to villainize him and make him look like he was the only problem in our marriage. And now she's feeling guilty about it, and that's the reason why she's backtracking and having all of these, second thoughts about the decisions that she made in wanting to divorce him, because she talks about him like she's talking about a completely different person, where before and at the pizza party and every time she got with the girls, she was like constantly talking so bad about this man and making me believe that, she was married to some type of I don't know what, her constantly, child, it's just sad. It's just sad that she could have been blowing up their issues bigger than what they were to make him look worse than what he was. You know what I'm saying? Instead of her, I don't know. I can't even get into it. I'm just going to completely go off tangent. So now she's having all of these second thoughts, and she does believe that Austin is not emotionally intelligent. She does believe that. I wonder if it's because of the fact when he said to her that he didn't see anything wrong with him hanging out with the producer, when Becca feels like the producer has something to do with, her marriage falling apart. Wants to let him go so he can find someone better. Oh, how good of you, Becca. How charitable of you, Becca, that you're willing to let this man go as if you ever really had him to begin with. You're willing to let him go so he can find a better woman. Her mom tells her that her person won't make her, when she finds the right person, she'll know that he's the right person because he won't give her all of these doubts about their relationship. Becca says that she wishes her person was Austin. Becca confuses the bejesus out of me. She absolutely confuses me because, she goes through these phases of, oh, I miss him, and he wasn't that bad of a guy. Then she'll go into, well, I made the right decision for leaving him and good riddance, and I don't want to see him again. It's just, moving on to Lauren and Orion. So Lauren finally turned down Orion once and for all, because Orion was hinting and alluding to the fact that he might want to reconcile with Lauren, which is making me sick to my stomach, because you feel like at the snap of a finger she's going to come running back, like you're that much of a catch and that much of a wonderful man that all you have to do is just snap your fingers and Lauren is going to come running back. So I am so glad that she told him that it's not going to happen. She was like, if you want to be friends, these are the boundaries that you're going to have to respect. So she talks about how, I think she was out getting her nails done with her friend, and she was talking about how she had sent him this text about, like, we can be friends, but in a very limited way, and these are my boundaries, and I need you to respect them. And he responded back with, well, this is a lot, so I really want to talk to you about this later. I want to dig deeper into this with you later. And he never responded after that. He never got back to her. So she's moving on. She's dating other people. She says she's so much happier now than she has ever been in her life. She talks about how being in that marriage, that 2-week marriage with Orion, was absolute hell. And so she feels freer, she feels happier, and she looks fantastic as always. Emily, she's FaceTiming her friend. So she has a friend that she's going to be traveling with. I guess they did so well at their job that they were given these trips to Hawaii and Vietnam, I think. So her and this friend of hers, once the show is completely over, they're going to go travel. And so they're talking about that. And I can't take Emily seriously. And I liked Emily in the beginning, and I feel so stupid. I feel so bamboozled. I really liked Emily in the very beginning, and I really felt sorry for her because Brennan did come off as cold and distant. Like, he didn't want to try. Like, he friend zoned her right away, and it didn't make any sense because nobody's telling the truth on camera. Everybody's putting on these acts. So it never really made sense to me why he switched from hot to cold with Emily. And I felt bad because Emily seemed like she was still in it with Brennan. Like, she really wanted to make this work, that she was really going to try to make this work, and he just didn't want to do it. He friend zoned her. He kept his distance from her. And I felt so bad for Emily. Now I see that, she was part of this Married at First Sight mafia to try to bring down, the men on this show to make the women look better when the women were doing just as much dirt, if not more, than the men. So it's just disgusting that I feel so tricked like this. And I never understood why so many people hated Emily. I was like, I don't understand why they don't like her. Don't they see how Brennan is treating her? But now it's all making sense. Now it's all making sense to me. So whatever she's talking about, I can't take her seriously. She says whatever she has to say about her marriage to Brennan, how it was spiraling out of control. And I just wish that Brennan would have been more honest on camera. I wish he would have said exactly what the hell was going on. I wish that he wasn't so caught up in optics and wanting to present himself in a certain way because he's so worried about the backlash or negative feedback or whatever the hell he was worried about. I wish he would have been more honest on camera instead of, being mute, instead of being lying, instead of lying on camera, trying to paint this picture that I don't know what they were doing. I can't even label. I have no idea what they were doing. Moving on to Chloe and Michael. So Chloe really can't stand Dr. Pia. She's still talking about Dr. Pia. She really cannot stand Dr. Pia. Dr. Pia now has Chloe Okay, so she still can't stand Dr. Pia, and her and Michael are having a conversation. I really wasn't paying attention. Actually, when Michael and Chloe scenes come on, I'm kind of distracted and not interested. But they're having some type of issue. Michael is really not ready to move in with Chloe right after decision day. Like, if they were to say yes, he doesn't know if he's going to be ready to move in with her. So, he's having cold feet now. He's having some doubts now about their marriage. I don't know if it's because of the fact that she wanted to raise a whole bunch of animals and foster a whole bunch of kids, and he just wasn't ready for that big responsibility, or if it's other things going on that they're not talking about on camera. Moving on from there, Claire and her sister. Okay, so they are taking a walk with their dogs, and Claire is still trying to perpetuate how she's good and Cameron is evil. And the sister says that, Claire will find someone someday. She'll find her Prince Charming or whatever the hell. Of course she's going to find her Prince Charming. Of course Claire's going to find the right guy for her, because there's a lot of moronic, simple-minded men out there for her to choose from. So I can't believe that Claire is a therapist. Now, word on the curb is that she's not even a licensed therapist. The rumor is that she's still in school. She's still studying to be a therapist. But if she is, or she's studying to be one, and she's acting like this on television, and she's trying to destroy other people's marriages like this, man, I feel sorry for all of her potential clients. Moving on from there, Michael is having a conversation with Brennan. It wasn't paying attention, really wasn't interested. Michael has doubts about his marriage. Michael and Chloe. So they go house hunting, right? And they go look at this house, which we all know this is they're not trying to buy a house together. This is just filler, to take up time on the show. This is just, a filler scene. There's no way in hell Michael and Chloe are seriously thinking about getting a house together. So they're looking at this damn house. It's not Michael's style at all. It's too traditional for Michael. Chloe seems to like it, but we know they're not moving into it, so it really doesn't matter. And what else do I have to say about this scene? He says that it's not logistically possible for them to even move in together so soon after decision day because of, existing leases, and their leases not ending on time. And I don't know if that's the truth of the matter, or if it's just that he doesn't want to move in with her because he's just not ready for that. Then we have the scene where the girls are at a drag show and the guys are taking a welding class. Orion and Lauren are telling, their friends about, not together, but, Lauren is telling the girls and Orion's telling the guys about what happened with them and how their relationship finally ended, how they finally got closure from each other. So they're both moving on from there. Thank God, hallelujah, Lauren made the right decision. In front of the girls, when Becca is in front of the girls, she doesn't express any of these doubts and any of these uncertainties about Austin. When she's in front of the girls, she's like very clear-headed and very decisive, and she is through with Austin and she doesn't want to be with him anymore, and it's over, and she's ready to move on and good riddance, and she hopes nothing but the best for him, and that he finds the right woman, that he finds the right wife, because she just wasn't it. So in front of the girls, I guess in front of her her boss, her puppet master, Claire, she doesn't want to disappoint Claire by showing any feelings towards Austin, because the whole thing is to make the men look really bad, and how the women were victimized, and how the men were like these really evil villains who weren't trying to fall in love and weren't trying to make a marriage work, and the women were doing all they could to keep everything together. So in front of Claire, she's like, oh yeah, I'm so glad it's over between me and Austin. I'm so glad I'm moving on from Austin. But with her mom, she's slinging snot and boo-hooing, can't get out of bed, can't function, hasn't even been to work in Lord knows how long, because she's, boo-hooing about her relationship being over with Austin. It's just so confusing to me. May the real Becca please stand the hell up. So Emily says that she hasn't spoken to Brennan, or really he hasn't spoken to you, girl. And oh, one more thing about Becca. She also mentions how dishonest Austin was in their marriage. And so it's like I said, I don't know what's going on with Becca. I have no idea. When she's with her mom, she's missing him. When she's in front of Claire, all of a sudden, she doesn't want nothing to do with him. So Brennan, he's talking to the guys in their welding class. He's still really pissed off at Emily and Claire. I knew that scene where Claire had told Emily about the double date thing, and they both were acting like they were breaking down. I knew that scene was extremely suspicious, but I couldn't put my finger on it. But I knew that scene was suspicious. I wouldn't be surprised, because Brennan brings this up in the welding class with the boys. He talks about how, he's still mad at Emily, he's still mad at Claire, because it completely twisted that whole welding thing. They completely twisted that whole double dating thing. They just, they took it and they ran, and they turned it into something that it wasn't. It was just a flippant remark made by Cameron that Claire took back to Emily and twisted it and blew it up and made it bigger than it was, to make it seem like these men were about to go cheat on their wives right now with strange random women and go on these double dates and have these orgies with these women. But it wasn't like that at all. So he's still really upset about that, because he was made to look bad. He could care less about his marriage to Emily or what Emily thought, but it made him look bad. So he talks about that. He also talks about the whole video diary thing. Now, he tells the guys that they was this during the episode or at the after party? I'm not sure when he said this, but he said that when he had asked her to delete her video diaries where she was talking so negatively about him, he said that she even laughed about it. It wasn't a big deal to her. He said that they would watch their video diaries every day, And, they would watch them, laugh at them, say what they liked, what they didn't like about them. And so it wasn't a big deal for him to tell her, hey, I think you went a little bit too far when you said XYZ about me. You went into me a little bit too hard. So can you please delete that? And he makes it seem like, I don't know what's the truth, y'all. I'm not siding with either one, but he makes it seem like, oh, she would laugh about it and she would delete it. And it was no big deal and we would move on. But she made it seem like he was forcing me. He was forcing me to delete my video diaries. And they were my video diaries. And he was forcing me to delete them because they made him look bad when I'm just expressing my truth. So I don't know what the hell was going on. He didn't like how Claire lied about the double date later, double date comment. Okay, so of course, like we said 1,000 times before, when Cameron made the comment about the double date, he was just joking. He was being flippant. He wasn't serious at all about it. But Claire took that back to Emily and made it bigger than it was and said that it was Brennan that had wanted to go out on double dates, not that Cameron had said that, but that it was Brennan that said it. So she flat out lied. So he's still upset about that. I feel like on the day of the reunion, I think Claire's probably going to need about, 2 or 3 bodyguards around her. She's going to need a couple of bodyguards, because she has been the catalyst for, she's not the only one to blame. Okay. She's not. If these marriages were strong to begin with, Claire couldn't do nothing for him. And the girls participated. It's not just Claire was the ringleader, and Becca and Emily followed, and they all conspired together, to do this whole thing of, hey, let's make it look like this when it's really that. They all conspired together. But I think Claire was the ringleader because she was the one that was most detached from her own marriage, that it was easy for her to go and mingle into other people's marriages. She saw that these marriages were struggling. Becca and Austin had their intimacy and attraction issues. Emily and Brennan had communication problems. So she saw the weaknesses, and she would, talk with the girls and convince them that, yeah, you really have a problem here. This is not fixable. He's really horrible to you. And because of the fact that her own stuff didn't work out and she didn't want to look like the villain, she was able to convince the other girls, hey, but you don't want to look like this on camera. You don't want to look like you're the bad wife, or you're the one that's doing something wrong on camera. So let's try this. Let's plan to do this, and that. So I'm not saying that she's 100% at fault for everybody's marriage. I think that she took advantage of her 2 friends who were in a really weak, vulnerable spots, and she took advantage of them. And the guys were not perfect either. And nobody on Married at First Sight is perfect. Married at First Sight, the majority of the couples have problems. The majority of them have problems. They have attraction issues, communication issues, finance issues, how they see their marriage issues. All of them have problems. But the thing is that number 1, the experts were a lot more involved in other seasons. And number 2, the problem stayed within the marriage. I can't remember what season. There was an issue. Who was involved? I can't even remember the people, but I do remember, I think, when they first started this whole thing where the couples were all living together in one apartment complex. I remember it was with Alexa. What was her name? Alexis and Justin. And I can't remember the other couple, but there was an issue there with Alexis, taking information from Justin, because one of the husbands would confide in Justin, and Alexis would take that information to the wife. There was that issue there. Okay. It was nowhere near on the grand scale of this, but Alexis and Justin were struggling, and Alexis took information that the husband had confided in Justin in private, and she took that information and she gave it to the wife, and that caused problems in their marriage. I do remember that. I think that's how it went. I could be wrong, but somebody will correct me. So moving on from there, Chloe, so they're all sitting at the table now at the drag show. It's Claire, it's Lauren, it's Becca, Chloe. They're all sitting together, and Claire is sitting right next to Chloe. So they're asking her, how are things going, with your marriage so far, so on and so forth. And Chloe says, well, right now, I think I'm going to need some help because we're struggling right now. And I'm like, girl, why would you say that in front of Claire? why would you say that in front of Claire? So she talks about how they're struggling, her and Michael, and what they're struggling with. And, and Claire's like rubbing on her shoulder, and she's got this really sympathetic look, and she's like, and I was like, okay. And so it begins. Be careful, Chloe. Don't tell her too much. Don't tell her too much, because she's going to take that information and turn it around and spin it on you. So, yeah, Claire sees, it looks like to me, Claire sees, a crack in Chloe and Michael's marriage, and she's about to turn that crack into an entire canyon. If there's any hope, Chloe, if there's any hope of your marriage surviving, and you confide in Claire, she's going to stomp out that damn hope. So Cameron was MIA in this particular episode. We didn't see any Cameron in this episode, and I was like getting worried, because I was like, my God, please somebody go check on Cameron. Go check Claire's basement. Okay, make sure that Cameron isn't tied up in her basement somewhere, because, he decided to go off script and tell the world the truth. Michael and Chloe, they're talking in bed, and Michael talks about his struggles with his emotions. Like, emotionally, he's just not there. They've had sex, they've consummated their marriage, and all of a sudden, it's like, it's over. I realized that, like, these problems did not start until after they had sex. Or maybe these problems started when she talked about her farm and her army of foster children. Maybe that's what it was. But the thing is, why would he take that so seriously? It's not like, they're going to say yes on decision day, and then the next day she's filling up his house with children and animals. It's a process. Okay. The state is not going to dump 20 kids on you. It's a process. So I don't understand, I don't know, y'all. I don't think it's that. I don't think that's what's really scaring Michael. I don't think it's that. Because it's not like this is going to happen overnight. First of all, you have to find a house and land big enough to occupy all these children and all these animals. That is not going to happen overnight. Okay. The first few years of your marriage is probably going to be child free and animal free, except for the pets that you have in your home. So I don't think that's what's really scaring him. If she's using that to scare him, it's working, if that's what it is. But I really don't think that's what's really scaring him. For something is going on here that maybe he's realizing that they're not that compatible. Michael to me doesn't seem like somebody who wants to live on a farm and take care of a whole bunch of kids. He doesn't seem like that to me. So maybe it is what's scaring him. Because I see Michael as being someone who wants the finer things in life, who wants to travel a lot, who wants to do fun and interesting things, and I don't think being bogged down with children and animals is really in his plan. So, and it seems like this is what she's hell bent on doing. So maybe it is what's turning him off. He tells her that he feels really emotionally drained, and Chloe seems really hurt. He's expressing all of these doubts, and so she's feeling really hurt. She starts to cry, but she tells him, just don't give up until, decision day. Don't make your decision too hastily. Don't, make up your mind right now. Let's give this more time, and don't decide anything until decision day. So that's where we're at with the episode. Thank you so much, y'all. I am going to do a review of the after party after this. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.